There he is.
So, guys.
Thanks for your patience.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I'm just hanging out, y'all.
Yeah, I told you 15 minutes and it was like 32. Sorry.
It was like, yeah.
I was enjoying the stream, dude. It was fun to watch.
We do our best to bullshit and try not to get people to go, you know what, fuck this. We try to give them enough information to keep them hanging around for a little while.
Yeah.
But now we have you, so now it's all on you. So you got to get them to hang around for a little while.
Oh boy. All right, you guys want to talk about physics then, or chemistry, or
No, I would like to talk about. I want to talk about your music. When I got a message, I believe it was from Sam McIntosh a few months ago. He sent me a message, and it was for your song "Gaslight." And I listened to it, and I was like, he sampled SpongeBob. You're my fucking hero. I was like, I never in a million years would have ever expected to hear a sample of SpongeBob, and the what you chose to sample, I thought was literally a stroke of genius. Can you please, and I know that we probably have the video to show, Kevin.
Oh yeah, that's the video we're playing tonight.
Right, which is absolutely wild. So well done. But can you give us a little bit of backstory? Let's start out with your project, Left on Red. Tell us how that came about, and then we'll eventually get to you sampling SpongeBob.
Yeah, so that's the whole story of how the band started is pretty I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dumb. Like, so I know 3 people in Colombia. So like this band started a year after I moved here. And with Corey Harness, Shay Spence, Anthony Brummer, I knew them all kind of separately. I knew Anthony from his other band, Con Man Economy. I knew Shay from her old band, Many Colored Death. I just was Facebook friends with Corey. I didn't even know that dude played guitar. Like, no, not gonna lie to you. But we had all kind of hung out like separately at one point, and the very end of 2023, I wrote Fairweather, which was the first single that we put out, and it was supposed to be for a client. That wasn't supposed to be like the first single for Left on Red at all. That the band wasn't even thought of at that point. So I finished the track for the client. I sent it over to the client. He came back with, not really what I was searching for. Let's try something different. And I was like, all right. And I remember sending it to a buddy of mine who produces out in Nashville. And I was just like, hey, do you know anybody that would want to do something with this? And he went, why don't you do something with it? I was like, I don't have a band. He's like, fucking make one. I was just like, well, we'll see what happens. So I wrote all the lyrics, recorded the song. And I was like, man, this actually is pretty rad. I'm kind of liking this. And so just kind of hanging out, and it was getting real close to New Year's. And I was just like, you know what? If I'm going to start something, this is going to kind of be a project. I need to find other people to do this with, because I don't want to just make this a studio project. I had a studio project before, and it was fun, but like, I want to be on stage. I want to be able to like perform these songs. And so I freaking messaged it to literally the 3 people in my band are the only 3 people I ever asked to be in this project. So I sent the track to Brummer, Corey, and Shay. And I was like, what do you think of this? And all of them were like, hell yeah, we dig that. I'm just like, you guys want to play in a band? And they were all like separately like, hell yeah. And then I was like, sick. So started the freaking group chat on Facebook, added them all in. And I was like, hey, what's up? So this is the band. It's called Left on Red. And they were like, sick.
Job done.
Literally.
Wow.
We shot the Black Hole video before we'd ever like actually played together. So that was fun. Like, this whole band, it's really wild. Like, the whole band started as a controlled fall, basically, because like we hadn't planned anything out. It was just kind of like, okay, we've got this one song, and we kind of like started just writing other songs. Like, the whole EP, from the time we released Fairweather, when we was like, oh yeah, we're gonna put an EP out in May, there was one song written when we said that. And so the other 5 songs kind of came apart or came together in the months leading up to that. I agree, Jeff. I 100% agree with
Yes.
that. the whole thing came kind of together, like just in this falling motion. We shot the drummer. We shot the black hole video, put that out, and like this kind of momentum started building with the band that none of us really expected. Like we had our first, I want to say 12 or 1300 likes on our page within 2 weeks of making the page. So we were like, okay, this is kind of cool. And this, like, we played our first show to like straight up 3 or 4 people in St. Louis. We sold out our first show in Columbia, which was cool. And like, it's just this whole band has just been instance after instance of what the fuck is happening. It's
Crazy.
been great the whole time.
It's crazy.
So
Yeah.
has there been, I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, I remember Myles reaching out to me last year, like early last year. And he was like, hey, dude, like, do you think you can have, you know, my song and stuff? And I was like, dude, send it me over. And then it just went dead. And I was like, what's up with him? And then he sent me Flatline. And I was like, right. And he was like, dude, man, I've been so fucking busy writing and doing stuff. Like, I just haven't had time to do it. Like, the man's been busy.
Well, I mean, in addition to being in Left on Red, you don't just do that. You also do music production. Do you co-write as well?
I do a little bit here and there. It's been more like producing for bands. Like they'll kind of hit me up, and I'm kind of like the Burger King of music creation. They'll be like, "Give me a little bit of like freaking Wage War and like mix it with Star Set," and I'm like, "Okay," and I'll just kind of like pump out a track that has those influences in it, and that's kind of what they'll take to their studio and do the lyrics and all that stuff too. But
I will tell you this: one of my favorites that has come from your creation is Seven.
That was a fun band, man. Love that.
They've put some good stuff out that you've done with them, and very impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that was a really fun, long project. Actually, we worked on that record for a long time.
Has music always been a love of yours? How did you get started in music?
Yeah, church, real young, which is hilarious because like the church that I went to wasn't like the typical like black church that you would think of, where like the music was popping and everything was all like, no, it was like probably the most boring, like bland church in Springfield you could go to.
Oh, come on now.
I'm not kidding.
I mean, we have no. What kind of church was it? Isn't
basically if you wanted to find a place to fall asleep, that was the place to do it.
Oh damn! Wow. That is so not what I was hoping for.
No, it was not fun.
So how did the love of music start there?
It was just me watching the drummer at the time, Albert Boone. I remember in like the back of my hand, and my mom kind of like noticed that I was just like laser focused on the drummer the entirety of the service until they stopped playing, and then it was but I was like 10, I was like 10 years old. But she kind of like made the connection after a service one day. He was like, hey, my son's been kind of interested in seeing what you're doing. And so like there was a point in time where he let me sit behind him, like he had a chair behind the drum set, and I was able to watch, and so after service he started teaching me a couple little things here and there, and that kind of grew into me wanting to learn guitar. And like I kind of just started making the progression. And I think it was around the time that I want to say 13 or 14, because like I was very like as far as church goes, I was like very much like just pushed into the church direction when very young, which that's pretty much the only kind of music that played in the house. Like it was T.D. Jakes, Kirk Franklin, Yolanda Adams. That was pretty much it. And I distinctly remember being on YouTube one day watching like a YouTube video of like roller coasters or something like that. And the ad that came up after that was for Simple Plan's song Addicted. And that was like the first like rock song that I'd heard besides like the music that played in like Kmart at the time.
So your introduction to secular music.
Exactly. And that was like a moment for me. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's what happens with like electric guitars, man. This is awesome. And so it kind of grew from there. So it's weird because like I tell people like, yeah, I started playing in church and that's why I play deathcore now.
Love it.
But like, I
Yes.
just seriously just like such a wild 180 from what like how I like grew up. But it's just I've always known I was gonna do music because over the years I just kind of realized that I don't really like doing anything else. Like regular jobs I haven't really stuck with. It's just nothing really holds my attention like music does.
No, and that's the love and the passion for it. You know, it's that's what you want to do. That's what you want to, you know, that's your forte in life is music, clearly.
Yeah.
So how did you go from, you know, learning the drums in church, so to speak, to now producing some of these bangers that we're hearing?
Hell yeah, man. Thank you. No, like it the producing thing actually started as a necessity, believe it or not. So right when COVID hit, I had been working for an alcohol distributor, and that alcohol distributor wasn't so like my whole like department was the department that basically um supplied all of the alcohol for bars and restaurants.
Oh no, you
Bars
got
and
laid off.
restaurants weren't open anymore, you know? So it
Right.
was pretty much just like liquor stores and 7-Elevens and whatnot. So like my whole section just got shelved. Like
Yeah.
they were just like, we have any work for you. I'm sorry, you guys can push brooms all day, but that's pretty much all we have. And it was going to be a significant pay cut, and so they were just like, you guys can just kind of get laid off, and we'll call you whenever stuff comes back on. I was like, all right. And so I went home, and pretty much all I could do was sit on unemployment and like try to DoorDash when I could. And then I just was just like, well, I had my first guitar, which is sitting right over here. It's my 7-string. That was the first electric guitar. The first 7-string guitar that I bought. That guitar is what started Vigilante Productions. It was just that. That and the laptop that I no longer have. But I just kind of started writing tracks and like was just like, I don't know what I was gonna do with these. I had like I think like a 50 or 60 tracks over a couple months that I had just kind of like put together randomly. They were shit. They were real bad. But I mean, I've obviously gotten a lot better since then. But like there was one of the days that I filmed like a little 30-second clip of one of the songs I had done and just, put it up on Facebook or whatever. I was like, just something I'm working on. And a guy messaged me and was like, hey, what do you do with these? And I was just like, oh, they just sit on my hard drive collecting virtual dust, basically. And he's like, well, my band's looking for tracks to kind of work on. Can I buy that off of you? And I was like, okay, that's something. Hell yeah. Thanks, Quentin. Appreciate that. He was like, how much do you want for it? And I was just like, obviously I didn't know how this stuff worked. I was like, $50, I guess. And he was just like, oh, hell yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. $50, here you go.
Right.
And so that's kind of how that started. And it's just kind of progressed since then to the point where now I'm going on year 3 of, I think I had 1 or 2 jobs over the course of the last 3 years that I've been here. But this has been pretty much my main job. The last job I worked, I left in May of last year. And I've just been doing the production thing and band stuff since. So it's going pretty well.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so I guess we're going to have to go ahead and show the people Gaslight.
Yeah.
Which I think is absolutely friggin' wild. And Jared's not here to say it, so I will. Either tell us everything or tell us nothing.
Oh, is that like about everything going on or everything about the song?
No, the video.
Video.
What do you want to know?
Everything or nothing.
Everything or nothing. Like just like a backstory?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the song's basically like you want to know like about the song basically is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay, so the song is pretty much about a past relationship that I had. To where straight up, it's why the song's called Gaslight. There's literally this is gonna blow your fucking mind. There's no correlation with the SpongeBob shit at all. I just thought it was hilarious.
Well, you succeeded on that. It is hilarious.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like there was no reason. Like we were in the back of the van, and I'm pretty sure like one or two of us had a couple, and the other 2 of us were probably stoned. But I came up with the line, like pretty much the pre-breakdown line, where it was like, "This isn't fun. I'm not your toy. You had your day. You took my joy. I'm not your Patrick. So stop your ploy. Now hear my words, me hoi manoi." And I just like was just like, yeah, that's funny.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's no
Mr.
reason.
Joey.
I just thought it was hilarious. And I kept that one line in our notes, like in my notes on my phone. And then one day I just had the ba-na-na-na, like riff and just kind of started writing the whole song. And that whole song is pretty much written around the breakdown. So I just kind of made the whole song correlate into that and just kind of like dug deep into a past relationship where I was just made to feel pretty much like I was the aggressor without doing anything for 2 years of my life.
Mm.
And to where I was just like, you know what? I don't deserve this. Like, I've done nothing to you to make this happen to me. And so I'm going to go ahead and fuck off.
Well, you fucked right off into a really killer fucking song and video.
You did.
So
And we're gonna play it, but I do like to give shout outs to band members when they hop in and say
Yeah.
hi. So Joey from Outlier just hopped in and said, "What's
Yeah.
up?" So welcome, Joey,
Hey,
to the show.
What's up,
Appreciate
Joey?
you.
Joey.
My dude.
But here is Left on Red. This is Gaslight, and you're watching the sound. The
Fucking right.
SpongeBob. It's
I love
the
it.
SpongeBob squeal that gets me.
It's perfect, right?
I love it.
And I saw the pineapple. I love the way you guys were dressed. You like really tied it in with a little flash of SpongeBob in the back and the SpongeBob thing. Was that a
Right.
person?
That was a person, yeah.
Okay.
That was a guy in a suit.
I love it. Like my daughter is 23, and I raised her on that. You know, we used to watch it together all the time. So for me to hear that, it's just it brings a sense of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think to probably a lot of people, you know, growing up listening to SpongeBob and watching it, and to have you sample it. Has anyone else done that?
I'm pretty sure there had to be. I mean, there was that entire sample core era, like between like 2007 and 2009, where everybody was taking like little bits and pieces from movies and TV shows. So I'm sure at some point there's had to be like a SpongeBob laugh or something like that. But like, it's been a while.
Not in a song like that.
No.
Oh,
No.
No.
Maybe this is something I can get. I've got loads of like sample ideas in my head that I really want to fucking hear in a track. I'm going to send them to Myles and get him to do it.
I will say this. So you caused me to go look things up when you ask questions like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs have sampled SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Not including Left on Red.
well,
It's not really that many.
They've used Texas is Dumb, Little Texas song, their song SpongeBob. And in it, they use Texas is Dumb and Mayonnaise is Not an Instrument.
Right.
And
Now,
then
there's
a few of them, like SpongeBob saying ignorant and I got top and bikini bottom. So
right.
stuff like that. But yeah, you
There's
made me go
sample.
check. So
One
Hey, fair enough.
sample. One
you did more.
sample
You did
that
more
I
research
really
than I
want.
did.
you didn't have
One-
to though.
There's
What'd
one
you say, Matt?
sample I really want from a TV show. Now, I don't know if you're a comic book fan at all.
A little bit. What you got?
Now, have you seen the DC series Arrow?
Yeah.
Now, what I want sampled right before a really sick fucking heavy breakdown is "You have failed this city."
Right?
Ooh.
Good one.
Yeah.
Actually,
I want to jump back to a comment that I saw a second ago. Now, Mr. Joey Arena, I think a Left on Red and Outlier run would be a good fucking collab, dude.
I gotta agree with that.
I'm just
I
saying.
gotta agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm
But the
going to
thing-
New Orleans to see Outlier.
Yeah,
Q2 of 2026. I'm calling it now.
Yeah. But the thing I love about Left on Red, and it's probably the music's great and everything like that, but you are so well known for being behind the kit that seeing a different side of you and seeing you out the front, like I've seen all the live footage from the shows and stuff like that. It's fucking great to see like that different side of you, and you're killing it.
Oh, thank you, man. It's been interesting. It's a progression for sure. Like when you're used to spending 45 minutes behind a drum set and you're told to take a microphone and start walking around the stage and engaging with people, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But
Well, the thing is, like when you're playing live, everyone tends to get ignored in the band other than the vocalist. So it's got to be a different perspective from you, from being behind the kit and being hidden, but like right at the back, to like being in front and like seeing those people and like they're paying attention to you now. So how does that feel when you're out playing shows?
It's nerve-wracking for the first 0.5 seconds of a show. Like as soon as that first song kicks in and I like get the first part of the words out of my mouth, like I'm sitting pretty for the duration of the set usually. Because like I know my one job for however many minutes I got on that stage is to make everybody in that crowd fall in love with us. That's my one purpose. Like I'm not there to hit every note perfectly. I'm not there to be the most like show offy charismatic dude. Like I'm just there to be like, hey, this is us. I'm gonna make you feel what we feel about our music.
Yeah,
That's
and that's
it.
what it's about. It's you're there to have a good time, for one, playing music that you've written and doing what you love. They're there to have a good time listening to great fucking music. And if you can all have fun together and, you know, make friends along the way, per se, it's a win-win situation for everyone, isn't it? Because
Exactly.
like for me, when I go to a show, I don't play instrument. I do dabble in, or I haven't picked up a guitar since I was about 15, 16. But like for me, when I go to a show, that's a mental release. And like I've spoke to a few people that are up on the stage doing it, and they said it's exactly the same for them. It's an outlet to, you know, get rid of that when you know, stress and stuff like that. It's you're up there and you can just let it all out and go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Myles has a bunch of show dates coming up.
Oh, wait, hold on, Lisa. You were supposed to give me a heads up on that. Hold on.
Oh,
Kevin's prepared. Don't you worry.
yay!
Hey,
Yes,
yep.
Left on Red going out with Allborn on some dates and then Etched in Embers. So
Yeah.
take a gander, folks.
I'm so excited
Looks
for
like
those.
mostly the Midwest.
Mm-hmm. For now.
For now, I know there's going to be a Richmond date at some point soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm just manifesting it. I'm just saying. But
Actually, hold on. Let me look at something real quick. Because this is some info that you guys are going to get that not a lot of other people have gotten. So we have this tour coming up, right? These two runs with Allborn and Extra Numbers.
Mhm.
We still have an entire fall that we haven't announced yet.
We're listening.
I'm not. That's all you're going to get.
I know.
from
I
pretty
know
much
one of the
August
dates.
to November, there is lots going on.
Yeah.
I know
So
one of the
hopefully
dates.
I'll get to see you in person soon.
Oh, actually,
Oh, Kevin, yes.
Yep,
One more
actually,
date
you will
in
most likely.
November.
From what I
Jeff
saw,
Haig, if you're still here, we going.
yeah, with actually a band that I'm a really big fan of. So, yeah,
Okay.
that'll be fun.
All right. I'm
It's a
very
long run
excited
too.
about that. Now,
Real
all
long.
we have to do is just get you across the pond to see Matt.
Yeah, please,
Dude, we can
please.
talk. Dude, we can talk.
That's a whole nother side conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation, man.
Yes.
I can't tell
But
you how many
I'm
times I go
working
on
on it.
YouTube. Huh?
I'm working on bringing like up and coming bands in America over here.
Please, man. Because I
So-
seriously, I go on YouTube like at least twice a week, and I just watch tour vlogs from the UK, and I'm just like, it looks so fun.
It
Yeah.
is.
We'll do what we did with the Almas. We'll go on a fucking tour and we'll go do some sightseeing and go to Stonehenge and London and
Sick.
yeah, man, we'll do it. We'll figure it out.
Sick.
And then you can feature Matt's ass in a video.
Yeah, like
Hey.
the Almas did.
That's the only reason we're going, honestly. Picture won't suffice. I need the real thing.
I love that.
Crazy.
So, if we go back to last month, for those of you that don't know, Left on Red was on the cover of the April issue of the Sound magazine. So, and you can still go there and read the magazine and purchase it as well. So, when they're out on these tour dates, you have this magazine that they can sign.
Yep.
Let's make that happen.
The sound228.com. It's all right there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had to postpone this episode because we had some very serious technical issues that we had to address. But Myles, thank you for being so gracious and
Yes.
rescheduling with us. Sometimes
Always.
shit happens, man.
I get that 100% wholeheartedly. 100%. I got you.
So, do you have anything that you want to say that you haven't had a chance to say yet to everybody?
Well, I guess at this point we should be dropping another track by the end of this month.
Ooh.
Nice.
And if all goes well, we'll have another one to drop next month as well. But we're still kind of up on that one because we might just save it because we're dropping an entire album in July.
Bam.
So the debut album is coming.
Debut album, yep.
Wow. Okay. Can we get a title?
The album is called From Anger with Love.
I love that.
So I'll tell you this right now. If you want to get me the track as early as you can, that's dropping at the end of the month, I'll prem it.
Oh, you got it. Absolutely. As soon as it gets mixed and mastered.
No one to blame but yourself.
Yeah. Just send me the
No,
tracks and
we
I'll
actually
work
did
on it.
outsource for the mixing and mastering of the album. I wanted to make sure that everything from Flatline to Gaslight or to True Colors has been mixed and mastered out of house.
Yeah.
So I've been handling all the production as I did on the first EP. I do everything up until it has to get mixed and mastered, and then I ship it off to our buddy Michael Martinson, and he handles the mixing and mastering because he does it a lot better than I do.
But it's not just like if he's better than you, it's also having because we get a lot of bands on here that self-produce anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes when you're doing everything, the production, the writing, and everything, you get too emotionally invested in the track. And
Exactly.
I was going to ask that question. Do you need that outside source to make sure that you didn't miss anything?
Absolutely, 100%. That's the main reason. Because I'm like anybody. I'm the same way when bands bring me demos. They bring it to me because I need an outside source. I send these tracks off to get mixed and mastered because I'm too connected. I've already spent the however long it's taken me to write, produce, and get the track sounding to where I want it to sound, to where I can send all these stems off to Mike and he opens stuff up and he hears things differently than I did. And he knows what parts to emphasize, what parts need to die down a little bit. And I've gotten a little bit of a blessing and a curse over the fact that I do all the stuff in the band.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I do the guitar parts, the drumming, the bass, the vocals. And I get to this point where things compete, and I'm like, well, this is a cool spot that I want to showcase, but this is also a cool spot that I want to showcase, and the stuff's vocally doing stuff here. And Mike takes all of that and he's just like, yeah, that's all sick, but is it good for the song? And he'll be like, this is what needs to be emphasized, this is what needs to die back a little bit. And I 100% fully trust in his abilities and what he does, because obviously these tracks are slamming.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of bands see that mixing and mastering, or even just production, as something that they don't need to spend money on. It's an investment in your sound.
Yeah.
Working in a vacuum does not benefit you in any way whatsoever. If you do not let someone who isn't emotionally tied to a project listen to it, you're defeating the purpose of actually putting out the music.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the best thing that it can be. I think that people think that producers or songwriters are trying to manipulate you and make it into something that it's not, when 99% of the time they're just trying to elevate what you already have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's truly an investment. And I wish that there's so many artists that are tied down to, well, it's my song, I've got to hang on to it, I need to have the say. You do get a say.
Yeah.
But you also have to be open to collaboration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also, one of the things one of the biggest things I like to say is if you can't do something, because I get a lot of horrible stuff in my inbox that just sounds like it was recorded in a garage, right? And if you can't do something
in a what?
A garage.
A garage.
I know what he meant. I just wanted to hear. I wanted him to say it again.
Called a garage, right? Speak proper English, Kevin. But you just said, he's better than you at the mixing and mastering stuff. You can do it, but that's investing in you and your sound. If you don't know how to do something, or someone who's better at doing it, invest in yourself.
Exactly. And it's the same thing I tell my clients when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm just like, you can absolutely do it all yourself, but is it going to be coming out the best way? Are you hanging on to it because you're selfish, or are you hanging on to it because you can do it better than I can?
Right.
You've
got to do what's best for the track, and you've got to do what's best for the band.
Exactly. The best buildings were built by teams.
Well, what's the biggest misconceptions that you think that bands have about working with an outside producer?
The biggest misconceptions I've seen is that they're going to completely change it to where it sounds like they did it instead of what the band is. They see it more as I'm handing off my baby to be completely changed instead of I'm bringing this project to someone else to collaborate with me. So that's the biggest thing, because like whenever bands bring me demos, it's a little different from when I like just produce a straight up track like from scratch. When they bring me demos, I do my absolute best to incorporate everything they had in that demo, and basically all I do, they bring me the cake, I shape it and put the icing on it. That's it. The foundation's already there.
Right.
Right. I just wish that more bands that like who are stuck in this space of I'm going to do it all. Like there's some bands who can do it all.
Yeah.
There are very few, but there are some that can.
Mhm.
But working with a songwriter, producer really elevates the track. And I wish that more of them would let go of
Yeah.
their baby. And instead of just, making it only crawl, they allow it to walk and
Right.
run and sprint.
Right. Yeah. It's they can't no band should limit themselves. Like you've got a full band, and everyone's got their abilities. Like we do the same thing in our band as far as like everyone having their strengths and weaknesses. Like my strengths, obviously writing music. Corey, our guitarist, is a freaking tattoo artist, so he handles a lot of our artwork. Brummer, incredible at content creation. That guy makes reels like no tomorrow. And Shay's got a freaking business mindset like I wouldn't believe. So like we've got a great team as far as like we've been able to save money in those senses, because like we're not paying for studio time, and we're not paying for content creation, we're not paying for marketing as far as like all of our artwork and whatnot, and our merch. All of our merch is designed in house. We just pay for the printing. So building a team and like knowing how to have your band play to strengths and weaknesses, like to like beef up where people are lacking, or just kind of like be open to outside help is a big part of your success as a band and as a business.
Yeah, hands down. You gotta have a team behind you.
Yeah, you got it.
Absolutely.
From day one, you got to start building that team. I mean, that's why we got Sam.
Right.
We wouldn't have a full schedule this year if we didn't have Sam, man. That guy is a workhorse when it comes to booking shows.
I'm just messing with QR codes now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like, what's happening? Okay, well, if anyone is looking to find Left on Red, where can they find you?
Everywhere. We are on TikTok, we're Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're on every social media you can listen, or every social media you can find to like keep up with us. Just at Left on Red, Como, COMO is a lot of our handles for pretty much everything. We got like if you go to one of our socials, there's a link tree there to go to every other one of the socials.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's real easy to find us. It's also got a link to all of events that we got going on. You'll find the new music that we've put out there, any reaction videos we've gotten, tickets. If you're at a show, you can buy you can go on there and like see our Venmo to pay for merch if you need to do it that way. Like we try to make everything real simple for people, because nobody likes to do more than a couple clicks. So.
No.
Exactly. Well,
Agreed.
thank you very, very much for being with us this evening. Hey, if you're in the Midwest, please head over to their website. Do you have a website?
We technically do. I think it's just leftonredcomo.com. I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't been on it in a long time.
Head over to their socials and grab your tickets for their runs with All Born and Etched in Embers, and hopefully Richmond soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, Myles. We appreciate you, and
Yes, sir.
wish you continued success with
Thank you so
Left
much.
on Red.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your time, bro.